domino effects in two parts. Part 1, economics. World population up until the time of Jesus. There were 300 million of us, and that's 10,000 years, a run of 10,000 years. Agriculture started about 10,000 years ago. That was what really set the human population growth off, because food leads population. And then about halfway into where we are today was the Industrial Scientific Revolution. There was still only a few 100 million people, but along came two Germans, Haber and Bosch, who invented the process by which nitrogen can be taken out of the atmosphere and turned into ammonium nitrate, which is a fertilizer, can be used as a fertilizer, and is also an explosive. Some people say Germany and Japan couldn't have gone to war without Haber and Bosch. They did win Nobel Prizes, but that made unlimited fertilizer. Agriculture was running out of bird and bat guano about the time Haber and Bosch came along in the 30s. And once they got unlimited fertilizer, that became a positive feedback loop that wouldn't stop. More fertilizer, more plant food, more population, and it just went out of control. So, let's go back to the beginning here. In agriculture, our economics was barter and trade, and then as food became more plentiful and city-states developed, people invented money. That gave powerful people an ability to control less powerful people, led to economic disparity, and city-states, of course, through there. The rich got richer, the poor got poorer, economic recession started, and finally, we're entering worldwide economic collapse. Part 2, environment. The cause of all of this is human population growth. The reason I made this little video is to try to make people get out of denial and admit that population growth is driving almost all of our problems. It led to massive energy consumption. This is a traffic jam in China, 116 miles long and about 16 lanes wide. Greenhouse gases and waste heat are produced by burning fossil fuel, and this is leading to global warming. Look at the plot on the top center. Those are average global temperatures over the course of the last less than a century. Global warming also results in the release of methane, which is a greenhouse gas, and methane is being released faster and faster as we use fracking to extract it from the deep earth. This is a positive feedback loop. So as methane is released, it increases the rate of climate change and global warming. And of course, CO2 is another greenhouse gas. Now, global warming has actually warmed the oceans a lot more than the atmosphere and the land, and most people are unaware of this. In the upper right, you can see how much heat energy the oceans have absorbed. The oceans water has a high specific heat. The oceans are saving us from ourselves, but in the process, marine ecosystems are really in jeopardy. CO2, more CO2 in the atmosphere also results in ocean acidification, which has effects on coral reefs and anything that requires calcium deposition. And of course, we've also massively overfished the oceans to feed the hordes of humans. And all of this is leading to the collapse of marine ecosystems around the world. Now let's go back to global warming. Global warming is melting the ice. In the bottom center, you can see the amount of sea ice in the Arctic for about a 30-year period. It's gone down, 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 and steadily melting. The Arctic is one of the places that's been most impacted by global warming. As the ice melts, there's another positive feedback loop because ice was white and reflected sunlight, but land and water absorb sunlight And so that's a second positive feedback loop. The sea levels are rising. This is for the course of the last century. It's about 1 foot. Some people say it's going to rise really fast. And I think that one of the most interesting things here is a huge glacier in Antarctica sliding down a slope at several kilometers a year. When that big iceberg hits the ocean, it's going to displace a lot of water worldwide. And of course, there's New York underwater. On the news the other night, the Netherlands people couldn't believe that New York hasn't built a wall around it like they have. And here's what's going to happen with just 5 meters, 18 feet of sea level rise. Don't buy land in South Florida and get out of New Orleans now. And here's what we've got. If all the ice melts, which it will before it's over, and we have a 70-meter sea level rise, look at the great inland sea in South America. The Amazon goes under. Look at the southeastern U.S. coast. All of Florida is gone. There's a great big sea extending into Louisiana and Mississippi. This is the end result of too many people.